So, before we start, yes, the slides look like they came straight out of Doom. Fire, shields, locked gates, apocalypse vibes. I was just in the mood, so don't judge me. Jokes aside, there's a reason for the style. Cybersecurity is an adversarial domain. Someone is actively trying to get in every single day. Also, quick but important note. This video exists because one of you suggested it in the comments. You asked for a practical, no BS way to harden a Windows machine for real world threats and to be used for simple and mundane tasks. So, thank you. This one's for you. Let's start now with an uncomfortable truth. If you're watching this on a default Windows machine, statistically speaking, you are already running a configuration optimized for attackers, not for you. And no, this has nothing to do with you being careless or stupid or bad with computers. Default Windows is designed for comfort, compatibility, and scale, not for survival in a hostile internet. Most cybercrime today doesn't break in. It doesn't need Hollywood hacking scenes. It walks through the front door. You click a link, you open a document, maybe a script runs, Windows says, sure, looks fine. Why? Because defaults assume trust. Modern cybercrime doesn't rely on genius hackers. It relies on default, convenience, and the fact that most systems are wide open by design. Now, let's kill another myth. You don't need to be rich, famous, or important to be a target. E-crime groups don't care who you are. They care whether your machine can be weaponized for fraud, for identity theft, for ransomware access, or as a stepping stone into something bigger. You are targeted because you do very normal things. You click links, you open documents, you reuse passwords, you run default configurations, and also automation made you valuable. Families like Emotet, Quackbot, IceID, they didn't start in big corporations. They started with home users. Ransomware groups literally buy access from malware loaders that compromise everyday machines. Credentials get stolen, banks get drained, crypto wallets disappear, not because someone targeted you personally, but because your system was easy. So, what's the strategy? More tools, more antivirus, more pop-ups yelling at you? No. Security is not about adding layers forever. Security is also about removing doors. Less code, less trust, less execution, less persistence. Every real-world attack needs three things. It needs to execute, it needs to stay, and it needs to communicate. Remove just one of these and the attack dies. So we are not going to remove one, we are going to remove all three. That means breaking malware execution chains, killing persistence in registry and startup folders, and choking command and control traffic. This is not theoretical, this is exactly how attackers think, and exactly how you make them move on to the next victim. Let's start with something that most people underestimate: bloat. Most users think bloatware is just annoying. Icons you don't want, apps you never use, notification you didn't ask for. From a security perspective, bloat is risk. Every background app is code. Every background service runs with permissions, and every unnecessary component increases attack surface. Some of these components don't even belong to you. They belong to telemetry pipelines, advertising frameworks, consumer features designed for engagement, not security. When you remove pre-installed apps, disable telemetry, and strip consumer features, you are not just cleaning the system, you are removing entire classes of vulnerabilities. So this directly mitigates abuse of UWP or Universal Windows Platform apps. Telemetry hijacking and privilege abuse via bundled services. Less code doesn't mean a faster system. It means fewer places for attackers to hide. This is probably the most important slide in the entire video. Most malware doesn't hack Windows. It doesn't break encryption. It doesn't bypass magical defenses. It asks Windows politely. And Windows says yes, because you are running as an admin. Admin rights equal malware rights. If you're admin, anything you launch is effectively trusted. That means silent service installation, registry persistence, credential dumping, all without resistance. The golden rule is very simple. Your daily user must not be an administrator. Admins are for configuration. Users are for living. Combine that with strong password, account lockout policies, and disabling the built-in administrator account, and suddenly malware has to fight. Most malware doesn't fight, it leaves. This is the killer feature. This is where most real-world malware families simply stop existing. Modern malware overwhelmingly executes from user-controlled locations. Downloads, temporary folders, email attachment, USB devices. So the strategy is brutally simple. Nothing runs from there, ever, unless you explicitly allow it. No pop-ups, no guessing, no oops moment, execution denied. This single step kills families like Emotet, Quackbot, Agent Tesla, Async Rat, and the majority of ransomware droppers. Why? Because they rely on you to execute something. When execution is blocked by policy, malware never gets a chance to breathe. Software restriction policies, hard configurator, Defender ASR rules, these don't detect malware, they prevent behavior. And prevention beats detection every single time. If there's one component that deserves special handling, it's the browser. Most compromises start here. Not because browsers are bad, but because they are exposed to everything. Untrusted website, ads you didn't ask for, third-party scripts, fake updates, drive-by downloads. So we don't treat the browser like a normal application. We treat it like radioactive material. We isolate it. We filter what it can execute. We block entire classes of abuse before they even load. Script control stops malicious JavaScript before it runs. Ad and malvertising blocking kills one of the most abused delivery channels. Reputation filtering stops known bad infrastructure. Sandboxing ensures that even if something does go wrong, the damage is contained. This breaks real-world attack chains. Exploit kits, fake browser updates, malicious redirect, and entire browser-based malware campaign. The browser remains usable, but it's no longer trusted by default. And by the way, if you want to have a step-by-step procedure to lock down your Google Chrome browsers on Windows machine, have a look at the video here up. All right. Let's address now a very common misconception. Microsoft Defender is not weak. It's under-configured. Most people run Defender. Almost nobody actually configures Defender. Out of the box, it's polite. Configured properly, it becomes aggressive. Attack Surface Reduction Rules, ASR rules. Change the game. They block behaviors and not files. Controlled folder access stops ransomware encryption cold. Cloud protection gives you near real-time intelligence. LSA protection hardens the credentials boundary. Together, these features directly prevent credential dumping, office-based malware, living off the land abuse, and most ransomware encryption attempts. This is the difference between "I hope my antivirus catches it" and "this behavior is not allowed to exist on this system." Defender doesn't need replacement, it needs to be armed. Now we reach the final mindset shift. Professional security doesn't assume perfection, it assumes impact. Security is not about never being hit. It's about being unbreakable after impact. Modern ransomware groups explicitly target backups. If your backups are online and writable, they are not backups. DNS filtering stops command and control early. Firewall discipline limits blast radius. Offline backups survive encryption. System images turn disaster into convenience. Recovery speed beats perfection. So a system that can be rebuilt in 30 minutes is far more secure than one that hopes nothing goes wrong. This is resilience, this is professionalism, and this is how you stop being a victim even if something slips through. Let's zoom out now and close a bit the loop. What you have seen in this video is not paranoia, it's not over-engineering, and it's not about living in fear of the internet. It's about becoming uninteresting to attackers. This setup doesn't rely on perfect behavior. It assumes mistakes. It assumes phishing. It assumes malware will try. And it's designed so that most of the time nothing happens. No execution, no persistence, no command and control. And if something does slip through, you recover fast, clean, without panic. That's what real security looks like. Not magic tools, not expensive software, but discipline, reduction, and resilience. So you can find, I will actually add in the pinned comments below, a link to a guide on how to practically put in place and implement this configuration. So you can read and go through step by step and apply it to your systems. Now, if this has helped you, please leave a like. It tells the algorithm this content matters. Subscribe if you want more deep and practical security thinking without marketing nonsense. And check out the strategic signal playlist here on the channel. That's where we connect real-world threats with decisions that actually move the needle. Thanks for watching, and once again, thanks to the viewer whose suggestion sparked this entire episode. I'm Max, Point Break Security, and see you on the next signal.